completely dry and there's no water for a while, so the tree just uprooted.
The rain is back and 2 atmospheric rivers are predicted to hit the Vancouver coast this week after an unusually warm start to fall.
This heavy rain is still in leaf bloom, so that puts a lot of wind sail in the trees, so they'll topple over in the heavy winds.
Don Barnicott is the owner of Western Trees Services. He says he's been extremely busy cutting down trees like this one that was a safety hazard.
It was from the heavy rains. We had a hemlock that got undermined, so the soil eroded, so we had to cut it down before it came down over that fence.
And BC Hydro is preparing for an atmospheric river too, after a long drought in the Lower Mainland.
So our meteorologists are predicting a difficult storm season because of the back-to-back hot summers that we've experienced, as well as a really dry fall. There are a lot of damaged and weakened trees that could pose a risk, especially on the south coast, once the winds start. But this year, we're looking at potentially windier conditions that could result in trees or vegetation coming down onto power lines.
When the soil's really dry, the roots aren't as strong and holding into the ground. If we see winds with this, we might see a lot of trees coming down.
Brett Gilly from the Department of Earth, Oceans and Atmospheric Sciences at UBC says this year's atmospheric river could affect the soil and break weak, dry branches.
Those sorts of materials can add to landslides, making them into debris flows or debris floods that also impinge on our transportation routes and potentially homes.
And Gilly says extreme weather is making it harder to predict weather patterns.
If we see events like this every year, we're going to have to really change the way that we live in British Columbia and start to use statistical measures to sort of evaluate how likely large storms are. With the effects of climate change, this changes everything we know about the area, and it means that our statistical measures are not going to be as good at predictions.
In the event a power line is struck by a fallen tree or other debris, BC Hydro says British Columbians need to be prepared.
What we recommend is having an emergency kit, having 72 hours of supplies, including bottled water, batteries, flashlights, dry goods, and also having a plan for your family in case of an extended outage.
In Vancouver, Angela Bauer, City News.